In October 2021, the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists, abbreviated the ICIJ, released a report on the investigation into leaked data stemming from 14 different offshore financial service providers. This data leak, its report, and its findings are nicknamed the Pandora Papers. The Pandora Papers revealed various offshore dealings involving world leaders, politicians, celebrities, actors and actresses, sports players, and major criminals dating back to the 1970s. The Pandora Papers brought global attention on the usage of offshore accounts and the exploitation of tax havens and shell companies for the purpose of tax evasion. It unveils how some of the world's rich are able to get richer and avoid resident country tax laws, placing strain on the resident country's taxing system, resulting in normal citizens having to pay increased tax. Looking from a security perspective, the Pandora Papers has also highlighted a critical vulnerability. The Pandora Papers data was leaked from these financial firms, which has brought their firm confidentiality into question, especially since client documents and private information was exposed. We can pose this question: have the financial firms implemented appropriate security measures to safeguard their data and, more importantly, their clients? The solution: businesses, particularly financial firms, due to the sensitivity of their nature, should have their security defense strategies in position. Optimal data protection needs to be implemented, particularly regarding the usage, storage, and distribution of data within the company. Network security should be revised to ensure that the communication and information within the firm is secure and remains confidential, yet available to the intended recipients. Application and software security should also be reviewed to protect the company on the client-facing side, to prevent unauthorized access, and to mitigate potential breaches. So what are the Pandora Papers? On the 3rd of October 2021, the ICIJ, which are a non-profit organization of investigative journalists and media companies based in Washington, D.C., uncovered and gathered 2.94 terabytes of leaked data containing over 11.9 million confidential files detailing potentially illegal offshore deals and investments. The Pandora Papers uncovers some of the owners behind tax evasion through offshore companies and using the tax money to purchase assets such as yachts, private airplanes, and foreign land. The papers revealed many examples of the creation and usage of shell companies within tax havens with an objective to evade tax by routing payments and company deals through them. These offshore accounts and responsible shell companies are illegal and are in non-compliance with governing tax laws. The ICIJ have not explicitly stated where they received the leaked data, but they have detailed the rigorous data collection that required the investigators to endure dangerous environments and threats. A popular cybersecurity media company, Cybersecurity Insiders, have claimed from information revealed to them by the informants that the ICIJ purchased the Pandora Papers data from the dark web. As previously mentioned, this data contained confidential information from over 14 different offshore financial firms. However, the leaked 11.9 million data files were unstructured and consisted of various mediums of data. These concealed documents consist of 6.4 million text documents, 4 million PDFs, 2.9 million images, and 1.2 million email documents, with some of the documents having more than 10,000 pages. It also includes passports, bank statements, tax declarations, company and corporation records, real estate contracts, slideshows, audio and video files, and due diligence questionnaires. So what does this mean for security? What are the security recommendations? Although the Pandora Papers have provided much insight into offshore dealings, their exploitation, tax evasion, the overall importance of company information security is a key factor that we need to analyze. In order to understand the requirements for future security and risk mitigation, we should view the effect that the Pandora Papers has on the impacted financial firms. A data leak of this magnitude has a significant effect to a financial firm. Having client data leaked is a breach of confidentiality in the cybersecurity CIA triad model. Client data was revealed to unauthorized users and globally publicized through media broadcasts. Although the source of the Pandora Papers is not explicitly stated, we can see that there must have been a breach in firm's data protection, either via an external threat actor that hacked into the firm and stole the client data, or via an internal threat actor that stole confidential data, moved it to a personal storage, and moved it to personal storage for future distribution. How can we mitigate external threat actors? To minimize the risk of external threats, educating clients on security measures is vital. A financial firm can inform clients of possible phishing attacks and share ways to identify the official website or means of communication. Introducing two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication can also protect clients by requiring more than just a password to be authenticated. For the company's web interfaces, a web application firewall, abbreviated WAF, can be set up to protect against cross-site scripting and SQL injections. Many programming languages we use today have tools and frameworks to protect against cross-site request forgery and provide a means whereby an authorized user can be authenticated. Good programming practices, such as client-side and server-side validation, should also be adhered to by filtering and sanitizing data sent by the client to make sure that the data being sent to the backend and database functionality is valid. Another way of implementing this is through password hashing and salting, where a company can run an encryption on the password that the user enters and store that encrypted ciphertext into their database so that it provides extra protection to unauthorized internal users as well. For any future development or application version releases, appropriate penetration testing should be implemented to reveal any deep system vulnerabilities. Frequent vulnerability scans should also be conducted to ensure continual and effective security. One of the most common threats to data protection is an internal threat actor, knowingly or unknowingly working on the inside of an organization, leaking confidential data. Assigning security roles, access levels, and personnel policies are a great way to organize employee privileges and provide a means whereby the origin of the data breach can be traced back to. A company should also have acceptable use policies in place which are actively enforced and monitored. Educating employees on good work practice dealing with internet activity, external applications, and antivirus and malware software protection and how to identify internal threat actors are vital to the success of a security plan. Another method of mitigating insider threats would be the usage of a data loss prevention system, abbreviated a DLP. So where do we go from here? What are the steps? The Pandora Papers reveal to us that there are vulnerabilities to exploit, regardless of the attack vector. It further reiterates the importance of proper security management and the application of tools that can best safeguard the company's interests. There are a few key steps that are vital to a company's success in achieving this goal. First, management of company policies and procedures, making sure they are up to date and relevant in the workplace. Second, keeping inventory of data location, security level clearance, and access rights. Third, monitoring physical devices, recording relevant information, logging important digital data, and adding monitoring devices and physical barriers to limit access for greater control. Fourth, enforcing security measures across endpoints, networks, and storage sites. And lastly, prioritizing confidential data and mitigating single points of failure. Although all vulnerabilities cannot be mitigated, we can still reduce the risk of them occurring if we implement a solid security foundation and enforce smart strategies to avoid that risk. Thank you.